There's this big question in finance. Can anyone really consistently beat the stock market? For decades, the textbooks and the experts have all screamed, no way. They say it's impossible, a total random walk, just a game of luck. But what if someone actually did it? Well, today we're going to dive into the story of a manager who did just that, a guy who seemed to defy all the odds. All right, so this is Larry Puglia, and from 1993 all the way to 2016, he was the guy behind the T. Rowe Price Blue Chip Growth Fund. And we're talking a massive fund, around $33 billion. Now, in an industry where managers seem to come and go in a blink of an eye, just staying at the helm for 23 years is incredible. But it's what he achieved in that time that really, really challenges one of the biggest ideas in modern finance. Okay, so this really puts his work into perspective. Over those 23 years, his fund delivered an average annual return of 10.12%. The S&P 500 benchmark? Just 9.12%. Now I know what you're thinking. 1%, is that it? But in the world of investing, especially over 2 decades, that 1% difference is everything. It's the difference between a good return and an absolutely legendary one. It's the magic of compounding at work. So this is the big mystery we're unpacking today, right? How did one manager pull this off for more than 20 years? Was it sheer genius? Some kind of repeatable secret strategy? Or was he just, the luckiest person on Wall Street? To really get why this is such a big deal, we first need to talk about the powerful theory that says this just shouldn't be possible. Okay, so let's get into what the academics call the random walk theory. It's one of the most powerful and controversial ideas in all of economics. This all comes down to something called the efficient market hypothesis, or EMH for short. And the core idea is actually pretty simple. It says that at any given moment, a stock's price already reflects all the available information out there. We're talking earnings reports, news, management changes, the whole shebang. So if everything is already priced in, then there are no hidden gems or amazing bargains to find. You can't be smarter than the market because the market already knows everything. And hey, don't just take my word for it. The Nobel Prize-winning economist Paul Samuelson put it really bluntly. He said that if a stock's price already has all the future prospects baked in, then picking one stock over another is basically a coin toss. It's just as good or as bad a buy as any other. The takeaway? You can't outsmart a market that already knows what you know. And this is exactly what they mean by a random walk. If all the information is already out there, then any new price movement has to be based on new, unpredictable information. So a stock's price just kind of wanders around randomly, like someone taking a walk with no particular destination. Trying to find a pattern in that is, well, it's a fool's errand. But if that's really true, then how on earth do you explain someone like Larry Puglia? The defenders of this theory have a fantastic analogy for this. Imagine we held a giant national coin flipping contest. We start with, say, 1,000 people. Everybody flips a coin. Right away, about 500 are out. We do it again. Now we're down to 250. You keep doing this, and after 10 rounds, pure statistics say you'll probably have one person left who flipped heads 10 times in a row. Now, here's the question. Do we put that person on the cover of a magazine and ask them about their amazing coin flipping skill? Of course not. We know it was just luck. The EMH argues that star fund managers are just the winners of this giant financial coin flipping contest. So this wasn't just some theory stuck in an economics textbook. No way. This idea completely blew up the investment world and sparked a total revolution. I mean, the logic was pretty hard to argue with, right? If the pros, with all their fancy computers and research teams, can't reliably beat the market, why are we paying them huge fees to try? It led to a brilliant, simple idea, championed by folks like John Bogle at Vanguard: passive investing. The motto is basically, if you can't beat them, join them. Just buy a fund that owns everything in a market index like the S&P 500. You won't beat the market, but you're guaranteed to match it, all for super low fees. And boy, did investors listen. I mean, look at this. The data is just staggering. You can see how between 2000 and 2015, the amount of money flowing into these passive index funds just went vertical. We're talking trillions of dollars. It became a financial juggernaut. But of course, that money had to come from somewhere. And you can see exactly where. At the very same time, investors were pulling their money out of actively managed funds, the ones run by stock pickers like Larry Puglia, by the billions. It was a massive tidal wave, and Puglia was trying to swim against it.
So with everyone basically giving up on the idea of stock picking, how in the world did Larry Puglia's fund not only survive this, but actually thrive? What was his secret? Well, let's open up his playbook.
Okay, so Puglia's whole philosophy was basically the antidote to all that short-term market noise. He had this incredibly disciplined process that boiled down to one thing: finding and owning truly exceptional businesses. He wasn't chasing fads. He was looking for companies with real, sustainable advantages, great management, and the ability to just keep growing year in and year out. He wasn't trying to guess the market's next move. He was playing a completely different game, focused on timeless quality.
And when I say he played the long game, I mean a really, really long game. His strategy was simple: buy these amazing companies and then do what is maybe the hardest thing in investing. Just do nothing. Let them be. He would literally hold on to his best investments for 15, sometimes 20 years, just letting that compounding magic do its work. He had this fantastic metaphor for it, one he borrowed from Warren Buffett. He said he was looking for economic castles, businesses that were like fortresses. And the most important part of the castle was the unbreachable moat around it. Now, that moat could be anything: a super strong brand, a patent on a key technology, a huge market share, basically anything that would keep the competition out and protect the castle's profits for the long haul. So, okay, what does a playbook like that actually mean for your wallet? Well, this one number pretty much says it all. If you had put $10,000 into Puglia's fund when it started back in 1993, by 2016, it would have turned into more than $94,000. That is the real-world power of his strategy. It's turning that disciplined process into just incredible, tangible results. All right, so this brings us right back to where we started. We've seen the theory that says what he did was impossible, and we've looked inside his playbook. So how do we make sense of his incredible record? Was it skill? Or was it luck? Well, you can really argue it both ways. On one side, you've got the case for pure skill. I mean, the man had a clear, consistent, disciplined philosophy, and he stuck to it for more than 20 years. That sounds like a repeatable process, not just a bunch of lucky guesses. But then, on the other side, you have the case for luck. The hardcore academics would say he's just the winner of that decades-long coin-flipping contest we talked about. An outlier, sure, but one that was statistically bound to happen eventually. And that really leaves us with a fascinating question to chew on. Larry Puglia's story forces us to challenge what we think we know about the market. In today's world, which is so dominated by algorithms and passive index funds, is the whole idea of a star manager just a thing of the past, a relic? Or is his success a powerful reminder that maybe, just maybe, it's still possible for the right person with the right strategy to defy the odds? The answer to that, well, it could change the way we think about investing altogether.